Okay. So today we'll look at how to prepare essay items. Okay. Okay. You will be able to, when you go out for teaching practice and when you go up to practice your teaching, you'll be required for you to maybe prepare test items that are in essay form. Okay. Maybe remember last time we were looking at completion, and we also tackled the issue of short answers. Okay. But specifically, essay type of questions are also very important in trying to assess learner understanding. Okay, so today we'll look at how to prepare essay type of questions. Okay, so first and foremost, an essay type of question. Okay, a typical essay type of question, essay test usually consists of a small number of questions. Okay, if you see some of the test items that we normally prepare, we would maybe at the end of maybe section C. Okay, maybe section C. Okay, is meant for such kind of questions. Okay. Okay, you have always been tested where you have section A is multiple choice, and then maybe section B is questions that are related to short answers, or maybe at some point they are also completion. Okay, so section B is normally a mixture, but section C will give you that full understanding to say you're going to deal with essay type of question. Okay, which the students is expected to recall. Okay, so the emphasis on this type of question is that students or learners are expected to recall or organize. Okay, yeah, they're able to recall and organize. So these are two elements, two parts that are important to organize knowledge in logical, okay, integrated what answers. So you have this learner is not just merely recalling like we had in the previous session, where a learner is just able to recall the answers to say, okay, this is it, this is that. Okay, but they are also supposed to organize that logical answers. Okay, they are supposed to organize in a logical format so that their presentations looks in a more mature and logical manner. Okay, so an essay, Mwinde, Brian, you are welcome. Okay, an essay test items can be an extended or a short answer one. Okay, so now you agree with me that essay questions are in many formats. Okay, but we are going to look at two broad categories for your questioning techniques that you are going to employ as you go out for teaching practice, and as you further go and employ your teaching profession. Okay, so these essay questions, okay, that are being talked about, okay, these essay questions, okay, are good, okay, one for application. If you want to assess the learners how much they can apply the knowledge that they've understood. Okay, so essay question of type of questions are higher order in nature. Okay, if you look at the Bronx taxonomy, okay, when you look at application, it's a higher order. Okay, it's different from a situation where you're trying to look at questions that are targeted at knowledge level altogether. Okay, we are not looking at questions that are targeted at knowledge level. Okay, but we are looking at questions that are able to look at application, questions that are looking at the synthesis level, and also questions that are targeted at looking at the evaluation stage. Okay, so all those are broad categories that you can infuse your essay type of question. Okay, so if you were to be asked to say which level are essay questions best applied, what would be your response? What would be your response? You can give me your response in the chat group, please. Okay, Gently has raised up his answer. Gently, please give us your answer.
I think they are best for application, synthesis, and evaluation.
Okay. Thank you very much. He's talking about when you are trying to evaluate the learner's achievement, you can be able to use this type of questions. Anyone with a different one? Nyimiri, you have not said anything since the time we started these classes. Please. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay.
What's your question, sir?
I'm trying to ask to say, when you are setting up your question altogether, the essay type of question. Okay, I was asking to say which stage, according to Bloom's taxonomy, would be best place to fit in these essay questions. Hello?
Sami, I think
yes, Otilia.
They can be placed where you want to know, to find out how the learners can apply what they learned. So it can be applied, it can be put on application.
Okay.
On Bloom's taxonomy. I think under application.
Under application type of questions. Are we together? Okay. Thank you very much, Otilia, for that response. Okay. These questions, remember, we talked about at synthesis level. You can put them at application level and even at evaluation stage. Okay. Okay. So now, there are I mentioned that there are two broad categories of there's a comment. Okay, thank you very much, Brian. Thank you. Yes, at evaluation stage. Okay. Okay. Now, I talked about there are two types of essay questions. Are we together? Essay questions have got two broad categories. Okay. Two broad categories. There's one category of essay type which is extended response, and also restricted what? Response. Okay. Okay. Under extended response, you are trying to look at questions where learners have got the freedom. Okay. Okay. They have got the what? The freedom to answer questions. Okay. 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 It's the parameters are quite broad in nature. Okay. Okay. The parameters under which you are trying to assess your learners are quite broad in nature. They are not limited as the restricted ones. Okay. Remember, short answer questions that we looked at last week are restrictive in nature. Okay. Where you have the parameters. Okay. Maybe you have given to say, okay, this answer can be asked. Zaluski, you are welcome. It's good to have you in the house. Okay. Okay. So we have the restricted responses, where you have maybe, remember the short answer questions that we looked at last week, okay, in comparison with the completion answers, okay? So the short answers would give you, maybe it is one sentence, okay, from a sentence maybe to a paragraph, okay? So you would find to say those are the type of questions that you would look at as being restrictive response, okay? Okay. Now, under extended response is that those are essays that in your essay you would even give maybe an introduction. After giving an introduction, you would give also the main body where you're trying to digest different kinds of views, and even maybe you have a conclusion altogether. Okay. Now, that is under extended response. Okay, so extended response are broad. Okay, the type of answering that you have under extended response is quite broad. It's not like the way we have it. This one is quite narrow altogether. It's quite narrow in nature. Zaluski, are you with us? Has Zaluski gone off? Hmm? Is Zaluski with us?
Sir, it seems Zaruski has not joined in the audio, so he can't hear you, I'm guessing.
Oh, okay. 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 But we know that he's around. It's good that he's around. Okay. Okay. So I was trying to say the response under restricted is quite narrow. Okay. Now the responses under extended is quite broad in nature, because the learners have got the freedom now to answer, okay, to put ideas in a logical manner, okay, you see, to show to the examiner to say this is their understanding about that particular question that has been phrased. Altogether, compare, for instance, if you are given a question like compare input and output device in terms of benefits to a computer. So you try to bring out the benefits of input devices. You also try to bring out the benefits of output device to a computing system. So in this particular situation, when you are looking at it in a broad sense, you look at extensively each and every. Whilst when you are given a restrictive is that maybe it could be just be a short paragraph where you could just give a short narrative about your understanding. Okay, just a short, brief narrative about your understanding. Okay, is there any question pertaining to the two broad categories that we have looked at today? Anyone with a different view? Anyone who would say, okay, here I've missed it out? Anyone? Please, you can just raise your hand or maybe put a comment in the chat group, and then I'll be able to respond to that. Okay. We go to the next. Okay. Advantages of using essay type of questions. Okay. Okay. Some of the advantages, okay, there are many, but I'll try and bring out a few that we could look at today. Okay. Number one, they are easy to construct. Okay. They are easy to construct. When you just look at the level, okay, you can easily construct. For instance, you're looking at knowledge level. You look at some of the keywords that are looked at knowledge level. Okay, there's a comment there. Okay, Brian Mwinde says it's loud and clear. Thank you very much, Brian. Okay, so they are broad, they are very easy to construct. Okay, that's number one. Okay, when you're looking at, you don't need to struggle very much. What you just need to do is to guide your learners by providing parameters to your answer, to your question. Are we together? When you provide parameters to your learners to say, okay, your learners are supposed to go this deep, okay, they are not supposed to go beyond this level, okay. So answer questions that are in essay form are very easy to manipulate, to do, okay, to construct, okay. So you just look at the knowledge level which you are trying to look at. For instance, if at all you are looking at, you are trying to evaluate the learner's achievement, you go and look at which is the best question, okay, technique or phrase that could be used at that particular level. I'm trying to look at their synthesis, how they can synthesize the issues pertaining to a particular topic. I'll go and look at those particular phrases that are looked at that particular level. Okay. Then the next thing that you are also is very good about this type of questioning technique is that it stimulates more study. So your study base is widened. It is widened by the way you are trying to look at things. Okay, you are not restricted by just knowing facts. For instance, when we looked at multiple choice questions and when we looked at filling in the blanks, okay, filling in the blanks, you need a broader understanding of facts, okay? But here you need, when you're looking at the essay questions, you need to extensively study. You know, it just doesn't end at knowing key elements about a topic, no, okay? It's not just about knowing key elements, okay? Not just key elements, okay? Okay? You don't just have to know the key elements about a topic, okay? But you need to study extensively, so that you, even your answering is in such a way that you are able to convince the examiner to say you understand what you are talking about. Okay, you understand what you are talking about, not just briefly to say, okay, this is like this. Okay, and then number 3, this type of questioning technique allows learners to demonstrate their ability. Okay, demonstrate ability to organize. Okay, ability to organize, express opinions, and show originality. Okay, so when we examine you in some of these questions, we are trying to find out, is the learner able to organize? Remember, you have the introduction, you have the main body, you have the conclusion. Is the learner able to organize his points in that logical manner? Okay, and are they also able to express themselves freely? You see, what we want is for you to express things in your own words, in your own understanding. Okay, in your own understanding, That is one thing that is important. I'm sure Zalewski is listening. There's a time when I had a discussion with him in the office about this particular concept, okay, where you are able to freely, okay, do not just look at what you are given in the book and extract it the way it is in the books. No. Can you arrange your materials, your answers in a way that an examiner, when an examiner looks at your answering, sees to say, okay, one, there's logical organization of facts, and this learner is also able to bring out facts freely, okay? And last but not the least, also show originality. You see, we are not fountains of knowledge, but we gather knowledge from other people who have already brought out this knowledge. So you are supposed to show originality to say, okay, me, I read from this book. That's the more reason why when we ask you questions that are in assignments or maybe in essay questions, we require you to bring out facts to say, okay, this quotation is coming from this particular book. Or maybe from the internet, I got this particular question. Okay? Are there any discussion pertaining to where we have reached so far? Anyone with a burning question? Anyone with something to say? Ndenda, are we okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Otiria says it's clear. Thank you, Otiria. Yeah. Pethias also says I'm okay myself. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, if you are done with talking, please just mute your mic. Just mute your mic so that we could progress. Okay. There's there are also gently says it's clear. I have a question. Okay. Nyimbiri says it's clear. Okay. Ziwa, please go ahead with your question. Just unmute yourself and tell us your question.
Yeah, so the question is like when writing the essay, what like language are we supposed to use? Is it like the way I'm speaking, or I need to use the language which is informal, whereby it's not like expressing the way I speak as myself as a person?
Okay, anyone to answer the question which Ziwa has posed to us? Gently, please go ahead.
I think the language that's supposed to be used, since it's a formal writing, and I think it has to attract formal language. So it's not what I can say, but what I have to write has to be formal, and so that it can also attract a good audience from people, maybe higher people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brilliant answer. Zalewski, you have an answer as well. Please go ahead.
Yes.
And welcome.
The language that you're supposed to use when writing an essay should be basic and for the most part, where when you're writing, there shouldn't be shortcuts, and then there should be a logical phrasing of your sentences. And then all you have to do is when writing essays, you have to write a point. When you write a point and you summarize it, then the next thing, what you do is you have to know how to link the next point to the previous one, just to bring out that logical order of the knowledge you're trying to display. Otherwise, you just use basic language. Just make sure that there are much complications in whatever you are writing, and let it just be neat and clear.
Brilliant answer there. Brian, yes, please go ahead. Brian. Pethias, go ahead.
So as for me, I think also paragraphing is important because each paragraph at least should be explaining one point that you have selected in a logic way. And also they should at least flow in a good manner, whereby the examiner was able to understand
Yeah,
the points.
that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, you can just mute yourself.
Sir, maybe I can add on something.
Yes, yes, yes. Go ahead.
I think when you're writing an essay is not like the way we speak. You know, when you are writing an essay, you are addressing someone. So when you're writing an essay, like sometimes you just jot down the points. Then when you jot down the points, you start getting those points and expand them in a logical manner. The points should fall in a logical manner, and also you put them in paragraphs.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, I saw a hand up by Mwinga. Mwinga says he has a question. Mwinga? Mwinga?
Yes, the question is kind of different from what you just was answering.
Is it different?
Yes, it's kind of different from what you're just talking about.
So are you going to go ahead and ask, or?
Yes, I will.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, you're saying, I think my question is based on the learner's perspective.
Okay.
Let me say, you're saying we're supposed to show originality as you're writing your essay.
Yes.
So how do you do that?
Okay, we are not fountain of knowledge. If at all a learner shows originality where they are getting their source, actually that adds for you as an examiner to give even more marks. Altogether, for instance, if in your question, questioning you've added to say clear elaboration of source will accrue for additional marks. Meaning to say, you have given yourself to say you are going to give additional marks for those people, learners that are going to show originality of the source where they are getting the information. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Are you clear on this one?
Yes, I'm clear.
Okay, thank you very much. We proceed to the next one. You can just mute yourselves. We are going to look at disadvantages. Okay? Disadvantages of essay question is one, can limit amount of materials to tested. Okay? For instance, you're just looking at compare and contrast between advantages of input and output devices. Okay, you are not going to exhaust because you are just limiting your subject to the issue on input and output devices. Okay, so you are not expounding further to look at maybe storage facilities. Okay, you are not going to look at other parameters, but you are going to just look at input and output devices. Okay, so the scope when you are looking at essay questions, the scope of questioning is limited. Materials, you know, can limit amount of the none that you're going to look at. Okay, and then the other thing that you're going to look at is subjective, potentially unreliable scoring. Okay, so these type of questions at times are subjective according to how the teacher feels. Altogether, there are times when the teacher has got bad mood. You see, they are trying to answer. Of course, we don't encourage teachers to have bad moods. Okay, but you find to say teachers have got bad moods. Okay, and potentially the results that you get from that particular scoring or whatever are not reliable, because you are looking at a teacher who's highly emotional and they are not considerate of maybe the handwriting of a learner and stuff like that. So you find to say there are other factors that are at play. So even the result that a learner might be good, but the result ultimately that will come out is that it will be a bad result. Okay. And therefore, you have not a reliable outcome. Essays are known to be time consuming because the amount of time that is normally allocated is normally big. So these kind of questions are quite at times difficult, okay, to attempt, because if you are given a short period of time, okay. Apart from this one, I'm going to guide you to give you some tips about this particular essay, how to construct these tips, okay? Okay, so are there any discussions on this particular subject that we've looked at, the advantages and disadvantages? I think I saw some hands were raised. Okay, Brian, the hand is still raised. Please, Brian, can you go ahead? Just unmute yourself and speak. Okay, Mdenda, you seem to have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
So in an essay question, you can quote an author.
Yeah, if possible.